Hi, I'm Andy Schaefer.
And I'm Brenna Truitt, and we're going to talk about South American coinage. When we first got this assignment, we tried to think of a set of resources that were both uncommon and had a number of aspects that could become records. We chose the South American coins because it satisfied both of those things for us: the need for a finite collection of resources, the number of properties, and these items are not commonly thought of as information objects. So we landed with the design of South American coinage.
The specific domain into which our set of resources falls is coin design, which encompasses all coins across all times and places. The specific scope that we chose to focus on was South American coins that are currently being minted and in circulation at this time.
So an alternate domain. So currency is a domain in and of itself, and typically it has two different types of currency. You have your banknotes and you have your coinage. Since we are focusing on the design of the design, we went with coins because there was a more limited number of aspects to record. Banknotes can have up to 5 or more different images on them, whereas coins typically have 1 to 2. And so that made it easier for us to create records.
The model of information organization that we used as a source was Glushko's model, since it was the main source that we focused on in this course. It served as our main source of guidance. We also used the Ferber model to kind of help us determine what properties would be necessary to include in order to allow the interactions that we wanted. Looking at coins within the Ferber model, we consider the abstract coin denomination to be the work, the coin design to be an expression of that work, the manifestation level would be seen in the yearly mints with slight alterations like year, possibly color and or physical properties like the chemical makeup of the coin and the weight. Then the item level of abstraction would be the individual coins themselves. Our system organizes resources at the expression level, looking at specific coin designs, but not the yearly mints, like not looking at the way that they change physically.
So thinking about the purpose of our schema, we wanted to focus on the audience, which we'll talk about next, but we wanted to make sure that that we identified and recorded the properties of the coin so that they could be used by multiple different people, including researchers, so that they can look at societal and cultural issues that could be reflected in the coins. We also created an organizational system that would support the comparison of coins. So if you wanted to compare the same coin from years previous, or if you wanted to compare the coin across countries or across the world. The other thing we wanted to do was establish a set of universal coin database elements. There's one other coin database that we discovered, and we'll talk about that later. But for us, it was important to create a defined and consistent language within the coin community, because right now there doesn't seem to be one. And so having that set just reflects and makes it easier to use this system for years to come.
The audience which we intend our organizing system to assist would be historians, sociologists, anyone looking to compare coins across or between countries and potentially between periods in history. Anyone looking for information on a particular coin or coin design would also be assisted. The research possibilities made possible by our system would be those research questions, answering research questions such as how how do coin designs reflect the culture or intended culture or government influence present in that country. Examples of research that might be assisted by our system would be J.M. Galloy's Symbols of Identity and Nationalism in Mexican and Central American Currency. This paper studied the representation of culture and history on coins and paper currency within those countries and what conclusions could be drawn by their representations. And then E. Helaner, in her paper, National Currencies and National Identities, made some proposals for how currency affects national identity and its role in perpetuating and establishing national identities, and perhaps use of a system such as the one we're proposing could be used to support and make conclusions such as the ones that she made in that paper.
So when we started looking into this, we found that there was the numismatic description standard. It was really popular in 2006 through about 2009. We can't determine if it's still in use today, and we have a couple of theories why. There are 116 elements within this schema, and none of which are required. So that makes it really hard to get consistent records as people are cataloging their coins. The intended use was to capture the distinctive categories of numismatic data that are fundamental to the discipline. This was designed for ancient and more historic coins and wanted to be implemented in places that had coin collections, such as museums or cultural centers. However, it gets difficult to do things like that when there's no standard for creating the records. While there were 116 elements recommended, with none of them being required, it really gives a variation and makes it hard to search for coins and identify things that you're looking for. Yeah.
The possible schema interactions that our system supports are the common ones that you find within any organizing system: find, identify, and select. The find function is expressed in the ability to sort groups of coins by country, image description, date of initial circulation, really any property. We want users to be able to organize coins in the way that they see fit, in a way that supports the interaction that they intend. We also want users to be able to distinguish between coins that might be similar in some properties but different in others. We wanted to allow for focus on a specific coin or set of coins for study and comparison, that is, selecting a specific resource within our system. We also wanted to make something that would allow for continuous updates and additions as coins are minted, and if we were to expand it to historical coins as coins are discovered. The final interaction that we intended was to allow for the potential to expand the schema beyond its current set of properties to possibly assist someone who's creating a system for the yearly mints, like looking at coins, how coins changed from year to year within a specific coin design. Someone building a system such as that could use our system as a foundation for theirs.
So some of the properties that we looked at were country of use, currency name, currency sign, and those listed here on this screen. Two things that we want to make sure we mention: the averse and reverse. So those are two keywords that are already used within the coin community. When you think about like the U.S. penny, the obverse would be the front side, which has Abraham Lincoln on it, and the reverse is the back, which has the Lincoln Monument, I think, on it. And so those two words we made sure to include because they're already well established and well used within the community.
You can see that we purposely excluded some properties. These are mostly physical properties that we determined weren't important to support the interactions which we intended. You can see them listed here.
So properties to elements, we have, we organized this in a table. We thought that was the easiest way to kind of show how this works. So we have the property and then we have the element name. And a lot of times the element name is very similar and or identical to the property name. And that's just for consistency, but also because of clarity. Then we have the value definition with the syntax, notation, and structure to be used. A lot of ours are free text, but they have specific values that you would put in there. So, for example, the obverse image keyword is the obverse image keyword. It's both the property and the element name. And this would be the words used to describe the image on the obverse side of the coin. Terms are derived from Getty's Art and Architecture Thesaurus, which Andy will talk about in a minute, and that is a free text element. The other one that we're going to mention is the reverse text, which is the property and the element name. That would be the exact text, including numbers as they appear on the reverse side of the coin. We use 4 Ys to represent the year when it appears on the coin. So this would be contained within quotation marks and is another free text element.
Some considerations which we made when constructing properties and the notation and syntax that we would require were within the shape property. The values for this property were determined by the coin shape, and we defined that by the noun used to call that shape. So in order, a round coin would be called a circle in our properties list, while a 7-sided coin would be called a heptagon. To establish a comprehensive and defined terminology, we chose to use Wikipedia's list of mathematical shapes as a source of our terminology. For the obverse and reverse image keywords, we wanted to use a standardized language for these descriptions, so we chose to use a controlled vocabulary that was created by and for the Getty Research Institute. It's called the Art and Architecture Thesaurus. This is a controlled vocabulary used to identify the subjects of art and architecture. The level of abstraction here is kind of medium, I guess you'd say, because we could have chosen to, there are kind of 2 levels that Shatford talks about in the 1986 article, Analyzing the Subject of a Picture, and these are specific of and generic of. We determined that it was more useful for our interactions to indicate the generic of each of our images. So instead of having General Diaz as the subject of a portrait, we have military officer. And we believe this will allow for comparisons to be more easily made between coins. The text, where the year is involved changes from year to year. So we wanted to find a way to represent that without just putting a determined year in that place. So we chose to put 4 Ys in play to represent when the year is notated on a coin.
So now we're going to talk about our sample record. This image here is the 100 Ganaries coin, and it's currently in circulation in Paraguay. So here we have the sample record as we described in the table above. We have the country of use, which is Paraguay, the currency name, which is the Ganari. We have the currency sign, which is the G with the slash through it. The coin name is 100 Ganaries. The value is 100, and the shape is a circle. The obverse image keyword is military officer. The reverse image keyword is fortress ruins, and you can go back and look at that. Yeah, so you can see that there. The next two are the obverse text, which is República del Paraguay Grail, and then Jose E. Diaz with the year, which is represented by the 4 Ys as we talked about. Then we have the reverse text, which just is 100 Ganaries. The circulation date of this particular coin is the 1990s.
Thank you so much for having an interest in our organizing system and viewing our presentation.